Hey guys, so this summer some new tricks were found that changed up 100% speedruns a lot, so in this video I'll be going over the new tricks and how they affected the run. In early June, Nerds with Game uploaded the video of a new way to use Equip Swap that allowed equipping the same item slot on two different C buttons. At first this seemed like just an interesting mechanic but nothing particularly useful. Later that month, Seedborn did some more research into it and realized it could have some important applications, one of them being useful for Big Poe duping. In the previous 100% route, we used Equip Swap to dupe Big Poes to get the Big Poe bottle with only one Big Poe. However, because of some limitations with Equip Swap involving the layout of your inventory screen, we were forced to do the Big Poe duping at a rather inconvenient time in the run, very early on. This was because doing Equip Swap for Big Poe duping would turn whatever item you used for the Equip Swap into a bottle, so to avoid turning another item into a bottle, we had to use an actual bottle for the dupe. With this new trick, we can now instead equip the same Big Poe to two different C buttons and not have to worry about turning another item into a bottle. To explain how it works, we first have to explain some mechanics related to equipping items. If I have two items equipped, and I equip one item over a different item, then they swap places. Now if I equip the bow and equip an elemental arrow, the elemental arrow gets equipped and the bow gets unequipped, resulting in a similar swapping effect. Using Equip Swap, we can force both item swapping conditions at the same time. Right now, I have a Big Poe on C left, Din's Fire on C down, and Fire Arrows on C right. Now, I want to Equip Swap the bow onto C left, where the Big Poe is. Because the bow would swap with Fire Arrows, the Big Poe should move to C right. But when I Equip Swap the bow, it'll be equipped over the Din's Fire slot, which means that Din's Fire must also swap with the Big Poe. This results in the Big Poe swapping with both, and going on both C right and C down. The Big Poe has now been copied to two C buttons, and the process can be repeated for all 10 Big Poes, and this will not delete an item because it's the actual Big Poe item slot that gets duped. This does have some downsides though. It requires an elemental arrow, and the duping process itself takes longer because the elemental arrow equip animation has to play for every dupe. It does end up being more than worth it though. The main benefits of this new trick to the route is simply not having to take the detours we had to before, just to be able to do a Equip Swap at the beginning of the run. We had to skip getting a Deku Stick early on and buy one from a shop, which is really slow, and that's gone. We had to buy a Poe from a shop and use it to RB8 Bomb Chews, and that's gone. We had to steal a Pona and kill a Big Poe with Bomb Chews, and that's gone. And there's also a few other small route cleanups as well. Now, rather than doing the Poe duping at the beginning of the run, it's about halfway through where it's much more convenient and fits much better into the route. Overall, this new trick and route changes save about a minute. Within a week of this route change, another new trick would be found that would change the route. In the few weeks before this, more research was being done into figuring out ground clipping, a type of clip that was not very well understood for a long time. As we learned more about how it worked, many new places to use ground clips were being found. One room that was being looked into for a clip was this room in Ganon's Castle Collapse. A clip in this room would be significant because this is the room where you wrong warp into near the end of the game, and clipping out of bounds here would allow you to reach the end of the Castle Collapse sequence without the collapse sequence even starting. On July 9th, Blinny uploaded a video of clipping out of the room using a slant above the doorway, though this used cheats to get a speed that wouldn't be possible to get normally. We started researching this clip to see if it could be possible to get without cheats, and we were eventually successful, first with a mega flip out of a hover, and then from a much more convenient slide hop out of a hover, though actually getting the clip out of bounds turned out to be extremely precise. Over the next few days, various setups would be made to make this clip consistent despite its precision. This did more than just save time from a faster castle escape though. At the end of the run, we used Bottle Adventure to get Furrow's Wind on B, and the primary purpose of this was to set Furrow's Wind in the collapse. This is so you could save warp to get gold gauntlets, and then warp back up to the collapse and do Void Warp. This Furrow's Wind use was also important for Void Warp itself. When we wrong warp to Ganon's castle and exit the room to the castle escape, your respawn coordinates are set at the door you exited, and those coordinates are then used for Void Warp. Using these coordinates from the door make the Void Warp extremely difficult, both frame perfect and an incredibly precise control stick position, and you only get one shot at it. This would not be viable in a run. However, the usage of Furrow's Wind to warp back to the castle escape actually restarts the escape sequence, which also resets your coordinates to the top of the tower, which makes Void Warp very easy. So this was good because it both solved the Void Warp issue and allowed a fast way to get gold gauntlets. With the new castle escape skip though, it meant that Furrow's Wind here was unnecessary, which meant that we could use Bottle Adventure at the end of the run to get a different item on B. The game has an internal item list of 256 total items, though the real items you can actually equip end around 60. Past that are some item icons that are used in other parts of the inventory but aren't normally equipable, and past that are items that are just garbled icons. These glitched items cycle through a pattern of doing nothing, crashing, or the one we really care about, acting like eye drops. At the end of the third child section, rather than equipping an item that would get us for Rosewind on B as adult, we instead equip Broken Goron Sword. This will give us glitched item value 253 on B, which acts as eye drops. Eye drops is the second last item in the Goron Sword trading quest, which you give to Big Goron in return for the claim check. Now you can't just give him eye drops to skip the whole quest. He won't accept eye drops unless the item in your adult trade item slot is at least prescription or further in the trade quest. But we'll already have the Broken Goron Sword, which means that we can give that to Big Goron to get the prescription and then immediately give him the glitched eye drops in return for the claim check, completely skipping the need for Eyeball Frog and the real eye drops, which saves a lot of time. Some other route changes also come up due to this, like finishing up Water Temple in Lake Hylia at about the middle of the run rather than near the end, getting gold gauntlets earlier by just entering Ganon's castle normally, and buying Goron Tunic earlier. Now back to the new tower collapse skip. I mentioned earlier how this new trick allows us to completely skip the beginning of the tower collapse. This leads to an unintended but very beneficial side effect. In Gerudo Fortress, when you get caught by a guard for the first time, a certain flag is set. This flag is so that if you get caught again, you won't have to watch the same cutscene of getting caught over and over again. This flag is for some reason shared with the flag that says you've watched the cutscene where Ganon's castle falls. The purpose of this flag is so that if you die to Ganon, you won't have to rewatch the collapse cutscene again. This means that if the flag is set, the cutscene won't play at all. The reason this doesn't skip the cutscene in normal gameplay is that the flag gets unset when the castle collapse begins. Now, because of this new trick, we completely skip the start of the collapse, which means that the flag never gets unset, which means that Ganon's castle just doesn't collapse. It saves a full minute by skipping the cutscene, and it didn't even need to be intentionally routed in, it just happened to work out perfectly. So all the improvements from the new tower collapse skip save about 4 minutes for a total of 5 minutes saved in the span of 2 weeks when combined with the Po-duping route improvement. Ever since Equip Swap was found last year and implemented into the route, it saved a huge amount of time overall, but it also led to a lot of ugly routing with detours that felt unnecessary but saved enough time to be worth it. The route didn't feel as smooth as it used to, even though it was faster because of some really big time saves. But these new 2 route improvements both get rid of these ugly routing detours and make the route feel smooth again. Before this, getting a sub 4 hour 100% run seemed just barely out of reach, maybe possible with a perfect run, but it seemed unlikely. But thanks to these new tricks, sub 4 finally happened, and it'll continue to go even lower. Of course, this was all a big community effort that only could have happened thanks to many people working together to make this all possible. So shoutouts to everyone who either worked on finding new glitches or helped with the routing. Nerds with Game, Seaborn, Jolin, Blinny, Neko, Fig, Danny B, Skirty, and probably some more people that I'm forgetting. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this video and enjoy the new route.